Just 30 minutes ago, the polling stations closed and voting in the general election ended.
This is BBC One.
It is 9:25 on election day. The nation has voted. The count is on. May I now introduce my colleagues who are here in the studio, and may I just say now, goodbye. Till then, goodbye.
then. Good night.
This is BBC One.
Urban crowds throng Piccadilly, hoping to read the latest news flashed from electric science. Here are some more election results.
Good night. Good morning. Good night.
see for yourselves the system without my interruptions.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, that's where the programme ended in 1979, but in Downing Street there had been crowds ready to greet the new Prime Minister. Margaret Thatcher returned from the palace to a noisy reception and had some words of St. Francis of Assisi for the waiting journalists.
This is BBC One.
Good morning. Goodbye.
Well, in 55 minutes, we join Ronnie Corbett in Sorry. That's here on BBC One.
BBC News and Election 87 with Martin Lewis and Andrew Harvey.
Good evening.
Good evening and welcome to the BBC's election night coverage. Good morning.
Can I tempt you with a...
Kids wanna say that don't need a fake. I wanna be elected. Well, I'm gonna rock to the rules that I make. Wanna be elected.
Won't be. If I'm elected, growing a beard will become a criminal offence.
Elected.
I'm going to make all mothers wear vests. That'll teach them.
Respected. Elected. Elected. I'll be elected.
There will be no tax cuts, but a lot of people will be forced to have haircuts. Yes, Mr. Branson, that means you. Don't be an in-betweenie. Vote for Mr. Beanie.
I never lied to ya. I always been cool. I wanna be elected. I gotta get the vote, and I told you about school. I wanna be elected. Elected.
Won't be.
Elected.
Won't be. I'm the nice one in the tweed jacket. Well, it was a present, actually.
Wanna be selected. I wanna be elected. Respected. Selected. I wanna be elected.
Here is my manifesto. Firstly, to help the health service, I promise never to get ill. Secondly, to fight pollution in the English Channel, I'm going to stop everyone in Dover going to the toilet. Thirdly, I'm quite concerned about the great white whale, although I'm far more concerned about the great white float. You can't find them anywhere. And finally, to save energy, I'm going to get Annika Rice to stand still for a moment.
We're gonna win this war, take this country by storm. We're gonna be elected. You and me together, young and strong. We're gonna be elected. Elected.
And now I can see the returning officer coming to the front of the stage. The candidates are gathering and the big moment has arrived.
Wait to take my place in the House of Commons and start shouting at all those other MPs and go, and shame, and how shut up, you silly old fool.
I'm gonna get elected. Elected. Elected.
Absolutely marvelous.
From all of us, good afternoon.
Now on BBC One, analysis and results from today's local elections, presented by David Dimbleby.
Good night. Good afternoon. Tonight we'll discover the voters' verdict on Tony Blair's first year in government, as we get the results of local elections that have been taking place across much of England. And we'll be looking to see whether Labour can retain its stranglehold over the north, despite some accusations of corruption, whether the Tories can begin to paint the map blue again after being virtually wiped out in local government in recent years, and whether the Liberal Democrats continue their march across southern England. And we'll be watching London, where all the councils are up for re-election, and where they have this referendum declared tonight on whether London should become the first city in the United Kingdom to have its own directly elected mayor.
And at this stage, not only is devolution a process, this election is a process. Donald Dewar said that John Smith would have been proud to see what has happened today. From all of us here, good morning.
Tonight, the results of the elections to the European Parliament from Britain and around Europe. Welcome to our Euro Cafe, where there'll be congratulations and commiserations throughout the night. Good night.
See you then, and to the rest of you, goodbye.
Three election races tonight: the Mayor of London, a parliamentary by-election and local elections in England. Anxious moments for Tony Blair, expecting a bloody nose as Londoners choose the man he didn't want. A test for William Hague's new aggressive stance, and for Charles Kennedy's laid-back leadership of the Liberal Democrats. Good evening. After months of campaigning, thousands of speeches, millions of words, the United States today elects its 43rd president. 150 million Americans can choose between Republican George W. Bush and Democrat Vice President Al Gore. The closest race in 40 years as they battle state by state for victory. Good morning. A big test tonight for the politicians. Nearly 40 million voters have the chance to give their verdict on government and opposition at the halfway point of this Parliament. Goodbye. The voting's almost done. The excitement of election night is about to begin. Hello and welcome to our election night spectacular. We promise to be fast, we promise to be accurate, and we promise to have some fun. Take it away. Good morning. Good evening. Welcome to the BBC's election studio. Good morning. It's been the most exciting, unpredictable election for a generation. Over the next few hours, we'll discover what's happened. Welcome to election night here on the BBC.
Where there is discord, may we bring harmony.
We're being disenfranchised, and that's not on.
So we were told, can't vote.
I think everybody's very angry.
Here, here.
Yeah.
Disappointing night for you, Mr. Clegg.
So there we have it.
The outcome of this country's vote is not yet known.
I believe it is already clear that the Labour government has lost its mandate to govern our country.
Jackie Smith, Labour Party, 13,317. Conservative, 19,138.
And I hereby declare that Caroline Lucas is duly elected Member of Parliament for the Brighton Pavilion constituency.
I think it'd be bad if people were to rush into decisions or rush into making claims which don't stand the test of time.
Hello and welcome to Vote 2011, the results of voting that's taken place across the country in more elections than ever in our history. It's only a year since David Cameron was on the doorstep of Downing Street, the first Conservative Prime Minister for 13 years. Now, 12 months later, he faces the country's judgment on his leadership. Nick Clegg, widely expected to be punished for his role in the coalition, will be mightily relieved if the Lib Dems aren't trounced at the polls, and ecstatic if he wins the referendum on AV. And that's not to forget Ed Miliband, whose party will be watching their performance across the country and judging whether the younger Miliband is a help or a hindrance to their plans for an electoral comeback.
You've made your choice. The counting has begun. Let's find out who will shape Scotland's political destiny.
This election must count as one of the most fascinating, unpredictable ever.
Tonight, we'll see how near the winner of this election could get to the very door.
We will relay it and see how much the power balance has shifted.
Quite remarkable, this exit poll. The Conservatives on 316.
And it leaves us poised for a fascinating night.
Mary Black, Scottish National Party, 23,548.
Kirsten Francis Oswald, Scottish National Party, 23,030.
This is, of course, an enormous moment for the SNP, and no one can deny that.
The people of Scotland are speaking, and it is time for their voice to be heard at Westminster.
The Scottish lion has roared this morning across the country.
Neil Coyle is duly elected.
Labour take that seat from the Liberal Democrats. You can see it on Simon Hughes' face.
What a night. What a night.
Vince Cable, the business secretary, defeated in Twickenham.
This has been a cruel and punishing night for the Liberal Democrats. The election has profound implications for the country. It also obviously has profound implications for the Liberal Democrats.
Well, it would be fair to say it was a brutal campaign.
But when you go into it, you know it's going to be brutal. I mean, it's never an easy ride, is it?
This has clearly been a very disappointing and difficult night, and I'm deeply sorry for what has happened.
16,692.
And I hereby declare that the said Boris Johnson is duly elected.
Cameron David William Donald, the Conservative Party candidate, 35,201.
I will make sure I do not let you down.
I'm confident Labour will be back.
This general election has produced quite a remarkable story.
It will be a leadership election for the next leader of UKIP. I will consider whether to put my name forward to do that job again.
I must take responsibility, and therefore I announce that I will be resigning as leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Britain needs a Labour Party that can rebuild after this defeat, so I'm tendering my resignation. The fight goes on.
One of the most extraordinary election nights any of us can remember.
The official result of this general election is a majority win for the Conservatives.
I've just been to see Her Majesty the Queen, and I will now form a majority Conservative government. We will govern as a party of one nation, one united kingdom.
It is 5 minutes to 10 on Thursday, the 12th of December, polling day across the United Kingdom. And welcome to the BBC Election Centre at New Broadcasting House in London. And as we've said, a few results already in. They're more than interesting, but there are lots and lots to come. So settle down, join us for all the excitement of this year's election results on the BBC. And goodbye for now.
So stick with us. It is election night on the BBC, and some of those all-important results have already started to come in. So, stay with us for election night on the BBC. The results are about to start coming in. Goodbye for now.
It's 5 to 10, and with millions of you having cast your votes, the polls are about to close.
The arguments of the campaign are over. The counting is about to start. So, let election night begin.
we will have a general election on the 4th of July.
Now, it will feel like a long campaign, I'm sure of that.
Look, I'm going to focus on the voters between now and the 4th of July. This is a really critical moment.
I returned home before the International Leaders event. On reflection, that was a mistake, and I apologise.
They just want me excluded from Parliament.
No decision has been taken to bar Diane Abbott.
I have decided. I've changed my mind. I am going to stand in this election.
7 political parties, 7 leading figures.
Scottish National Party support is steadily going up.
Oh gosh, we're going to keep going, right, okay. So that's interesting.
I will fight for you. I will make sure that your voice is heard.
If you want change, you have to vote for it.